Okay, so dopamine coloring. I've only tried it this week and I fell in love with it. And that's why I kind of wanted to talk to you about it. It just was so much fun. It was so freeing. And I honestly can't remember the last time I've enjoyed a page so much. It was a blast. And if you're wondering, yeah, that is a squishmallow behind my back because, it's comfy. So actually, I took a few notes and they're on the monitor in front of me just so I wouldn't forget anything. But really, I do want to have just a low-key chat with you. And my favorite part about it is you're kind of encouraged to color outside the lines, and that's huge. And I'm not going to lie, it's uncomfortable. It's hard. It's hard to even get started just because we're so conditioned to striving for the best page we can, for, perfection, like I mentioned earlier. But that's not what this is. So what's cool about it is you get some really neat results. So no rules. Choose the colors that make you happy. So basically whatever you're drawn to in the moment, do that. It's supposed to boost positive feelings, and it really did for me, and I was not thinking that was going to happen. The first place I heard of dopamine coloring was from Sarah Renee Clark. I'm pretty sure she invented it. And while I thought it was cool, she's made at least a couple videos on it and some shorts. I thought it was really cool. Her pages turned out really cute. I wasn't convinced to try it myself. I just wasn't feeling it. I'm just so conditioned to, a certain way of doing things, and it really made me uncomfortable. The thought of coloring outside the line, of choosing, crazy colors, which, by the way, you don't have to do with dopamine coloring, but a lot of people do just because it's a feel-good thing to choose bright colors. But I just wasn't ready to let go. And then somewhere this week, I thought to myself, you know what, I just feel like having a totally chill day, or evening, actually. And so I grabbed a handful of markers. I grabbed actually this book right here, which is Goblin Core. And you may have heard me mention this before. I like to experiment in this book. It's really not my favorite book. It's got a lot of weird characters in it with 3 eyes and, I don't know, some kind of gross images, some kind of cute images too. But that's why I like to experiment in it. It's not precious. So I grabbed that. I grabbed a handful of markers, and I grabbed my little lap board that I like to normally sit at. If I'm not going to sit at my desk, I like to grab a lap board to sit at, like, my recliner. But this particular night, I just needed comfort, and I colored in bed, which I almost never do. So I grabbed these colors, grabbed the book, and I sat with it. And it was hard. It was really hard. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It felt awkward. It took me a moment to even get started. But once I did, I started having a lot of fun. And before I knew it, I was going about it just fast and furious and loving it. I almost couldn't color fast enough. And that was such a freeing experience. I don't know that I've ever really felt that way coloring. I mean, I get so much joy out of coloring, but I've never felt this particular way. So much so that I couldn't wait to try it again and then again, as you'll see. So let me go over a few things with you. I'm just going to give you some gentle guidelines, I'll call them, because there are no rules, but gentle guidelines that I think might help a little bit. What I did certainly doesn't have to be what you do, but let's see. First of all, just choose that book that you don't mind ruining, because yeah, you might ruin it. I mean, there's no guarantee in this. It's messy. And so grab a book that you don't mind messing up. Find a page that's not overly intricate. At least that's how I went about it. And then get started. Next, I chose a handful of markers. And I chose lights and darks of the same colors. And the idea behind that is, color, but have a rough idea of where you may want to put in some shading. And then use that darker marker to put in a little shading and do it messy. Go outside the lines. Be free. That's the fun of it, and it's magical. I don't know why, I don't know how, but it's really magical. The next thing I would say is to color the main image in. At least that's what I did, where I didn't leave any white left. And on the page, it was just all filled with color. And then after I did that, and I went, crazy coloring and having just so much fun, you'll see what I mean when you get started on it. Then the next phase, I went in and I just sort of tidied up. I just sort of cleaned up and I brought in maybe some other markers. I came in with pencil, and Prismas are a really good choice, by the way, if you're looking to, I don't know, create some shading, create some light and dark, cover up some spots perhaps that you're not crazy about. Prismacolors are a really good choice for that because they're kind of opaque. They just sort of work, I think you know what I mean by that. They can kind of cover up some things, and like the white is magical. We all use Prisma white for lots of different things, highlights. And I would encourage you to do that, on this as well, because it's really kind of a neat effect. So yeah, just tidy it up, and then just you decide when you want to stop or when you don't want to stop. In my case, I feel like I kind of maybe went a little bit too far in correcting it. And on the page that I'm coloring kind of live with you, I made a mental note to myself to not go crazy on correcting it, because part of the magic in it is just the pops of color that come out that you don't expect, and they just sort of magically transform into highlights and just, well, as Bob Ross would say, happy little accidents. That's the thing for a reason, because it happens in art. And it happened to me on my first page especially. I was just shocked. So actually, it's this one in Goblin Core. So this is my very first page, and I'll show it to you here. I had so much fun with it. Vibrant colors, and it's not perfect. It's, the highlights, the shading, the white that I put around it is not wonderful. But it served a purpose. It taught me a lot, actually, and I can't wait to try it again. And that, so that being said, just use it for you. Enjoy it, and don't worry about being judged. Don't worry about, actually, if anybody's going to judge, it's going to be you. I don't know about you, but I'm my worst critic, I think. And kind of want to lighten up on that a little bit, and this is a good way to do that. So yeah, that's that. Now let's see here. The other thing I did is I used acrylic paint pens to go over different places that I wanted to kind of bring out, especially highlights. That just sort of worked. And so yeah, that's a good tool because it'll go over anything that you've already done. So I would encourage you to use those, play with those if that's something that you feel drawn to do. Again, don't do it if you don't want to. It's your page. My next page I did was in, let's see here. Oh yeah, this one here. It was Entangled. This is an Angela Porter book, and a buddy color with Sherry Denowitz, who everybody knows and loves over on Instagram. So this is the page that I colored next, and it looks pretty tidy, but the messy part is I started with crayons, and I really did just scribble and scribbled and scribbled. Then I went over it with some mechanical pencils. You've seen me do that before, or at least I've told you about it before, where I like to come in and go over the crayon. It sort of smooths it out. You know how crayon gets that wax bloom? There's something about mechanical pencils that I've discovered that solves that problem. They smooth it out. They sort of a combination of smoothing and scraping off the wax, and it just leaves a really cool effect. And then from there, I did add some white Prisma again for some highlight. Next, I went over it with black acrylic paint to sort of outline the individual little shapes. And then the places that I didn't want to have a dramatic black line, I used black gel pen. And then I came over with a gold metallic pen just for some little dotting, which was a blast to use. And again, just go crazy, add as much or as little as you want to. It's all for fun. And then the third page is the page that I've been sharing with you, as we've been talking. And it is from Cozy Days. So this one, I made a conscious effort to leave it more raw, and hopefully you can see that. I really didn't try to overcorrect. I tried to leave things just loose. And that's another kind of cool thing about this whole process is there's just some surprising results that happen that you maybe normally wouldn't expect. So just to kind of reflect back on it, it's unnerving. It is so unnerving, but it's so much fun. Once you get past the uneasiness of coloring outside the lines, especially, that was the hardest part for me, I think. It's just a blast. It's so liberating. It's so creative. So much so that I feel like I want to use this as a part of my, like a regular process, a regular part of my coloring process, because I really found that it brought out the creativity in me. I love the feeling. It really did make me feel good, and it taught me a thing or two. I feel like I've really got a lot out of this week of coloring. Yeah, I really do. And I feel like I'm going to look at art a little bit differently, and I'm going to just try to have a lot more fun and be a lot more forgiving with myself. And I hope that for you as well. If you've ever tried dopamine coloring, leave me a message and let me know. I'd love to know, did you like it? Did you not like it? What was good about it? What did you not like about it? And I'll look forward to reading those. I love your comments, and I will see you on my next video. Bye now.